A very wonderful afternoon to all world freedom fighters, fighters for liberty, justice and righteousness, morality and ethics. I'm coming from Australia because I've been involved in 80 plus Fair Work Commission cases in the Fair Work Commission of Australia, which is industrial law where those cases are fought out. I developed and ran 80 cases, and I actually interviewed employers of Qantas's Jetstar airline and questioned both the executives of that organisation plus the King's Counsel representing them, Richard Dalton. And the commission hearing was Commission Hearing U2022/5543, which is the Fair Work Commission case in 2022, whereby I actually was able to get Madam Deputy President now, Bernadette O'Neill in the Fair Work Commission, to actually rule a precedent of law that I put forward, and in her mistaken belief or ignorance of law, I believe she's won our case for us. I will now show you the photograph as you see on your left, Deputy President Bernadette O'Neill, now Deputy President of the Fair Work Commission, and on your right you will see Richard Dalton, King's Counsel. Richard Dalton actually represented the Qantas Jetstar organisation and their employees in the case I ran. Why is this important? That's two of the three people involved in this case where I've got significant leaps forward in law now that actually classify the directive to be injected by the employer, Qantas, Jetstar and Virgin. This law actually prohibits the injection proceeding. The law is the Immunisation Guideline Criterion number 2, and this is delegated law. It actually states that no injecting practitioner can inject anyone who comes in for any injection under any pressure to be injected. Fortunately, I was able to get Deputy President Bernadette O'Neill, thank you madam, to actually rule that the pressure placed on the employees to be injected, I'll read it to you. She actually quotes, I'll read you the quote. She says, while the direction did involve significant pressure on the applicant to become injected, it was not unlawful pressure. We say to you, Deputy President Bernadette O'Neill, we never argued that it was unlawful pressure. Of course it was lawful pressure. Employers under the Employment Acts of Parliament and the Employment Contract have the right to put pressure on people to do things, such as take overtime, no overtime, work certain hours, not work certain hours, take bonuses, not take bonuses. They own the contract of employment, it's theirs. They pay people to do things, and they can put pressure on people to do things. We never argued it was unlawful pressure. Here's the rub. Thank you, Bernadette O'Neill. You have now ruled it was significant pressure for the employee to get injected. Now, under law, the Immunisation Guideline Criterion 2 says the injecting practitioner must seek and obtain valid consent, which is defined as nobody coming in under any pressure to be injected. And if they do, under this binding law, the injecting practitioner cannot inject. What's the upshot of this? Anytime an employer puts a directive out on an employee, if the employer then stops the employee from carrying out or abiding by the directive, it is automatically at law under the Fair Work Act an unlawful directive. It's not unlawful pressure, but as soon as the employer stops the employee from carrying out their directive by putting pressure to be injected, which stops the injecting practitioner, that is automatically an unlawful directive. Under the Fair Work Act, an employer cannot give an order and stop it from being carried out or complied with. So thank you, Deputy Deputy President Commissioner of the Fair Work Commission, Deputy President now, Bernadette O'Neill. And I showed you the photo also of King's Counsel, Richard Dalton. Now, in this case, what I did was produce a document called the Glenn Floyd Template. Simply a notification given to the injecting practitioner, showing them the law. And the law is the Immunisation Guideline Criterion 2. And it simply states and shows the injecting practitioner the Guideline Criterion 2 says if anyone comes in under pressure to be injected, you cannot inject. And when we presented this document, they all refused to inject because they knew the law. Now, Qantas and Jetstar and Virgin and all these companies, all of them, no matter what company it is, they cannot claim ignorance of the law. Under the immunisation guideline, it says an injecting practitioner cannot inject if there's sacking pressure. So what's happened is the employers have actually stopped their own directive. King's Counsel Richard Dalton, in this 6-hour case that I ran, made the statement, verbatim quote. This is what he said. By the way, when he was talking about the document that showed the injecting practitioner of the immunisation guideline prohibiting him from injecting, he said, verbatim quote, "No sane injecting practitioner, having read that document, could administer the injection to the applicant." This is King's Counsel Richard Dalton, Qantas Jetstar, King's Counsel, declaring, thank you, sir, my learned companion, thank you, sir, for declaring that no sane injecting practitioner, having read that document advising him of the immunisation guideline, could administer that injection to the applicant. Thank you. So we have Deputy President Commissioner O'Neill ruling that significant pressure was placed on the applicants on the employees to be injected. We have King's Counsel Richard Dalton declaring that no sane injecting practitioner could administer that injection to the applicant after being shown the facts of law that the sacking threat is pressure stopping him from injecting. So thank you, Deputy President O'Neill from the Fair Work Commission. Thank you, Richard Dalton, King's Counsel. We do greatly thank you for winning our case for us. The third most important point is this. Okay, it is a guideline. Now, in all law, most superior laws under the Constitution are legislated statute law. That is, they pass through the Parliament, they're approved by both houses of Parliament or the Congress in the United States, and they become written statute law. But for instance, the Health Act, for instance, it's just too broad the way it's written to be able to show every possible situation that could apply to every citizen in the country. So what happens in statute law is this. The statute is passed by Parliament or Congress, the law exists and it's binding. But because there's so many applications with the millions of people and billions of people that these rules apply to, these acts of law apply to, there is a thing called delegated law. And under the Acts of Parliament, the minister administering the act itself has got delegated powers. So the minister makes delegated bylaws, regulations, and guidelines, which actually state where the laws apply. And the immunisation guideline, my good friends, and the Australian Health Act, the Immunisation Guidelines Criterion 2, are delegated law under the Health Act, whereby the minister declares that no injecting practitioner can inject anyone who comes in for an injection applied to them, which is pressure to be injected. So I'll wrap up on that. Thank you very much for being interested. Where are we going with this? We want to send this video viral because it applies to every Western country on earth. And what we want to do, our next step is to create a world-class action whereby employees who were either sacked for not taking the Fauci Frankenstein COVID cyanide. We want to act on their behalf. Also, the people who did take it and regretted deeply, because world death rates now through the roof, particularly for young people, from the injection itself. We want to start a major class action, global class action, and we want to start a GoFundMe page whereby you can all jump in and fund this class action, because we've got 3 major steps in law that are now verified by our great companions whose picture I showed you, who have now won our case for us, we say. Thank you. Stay tuned. Send this viral. We want the class action to come, and we want a GoFundMe page to be started so we can help all those people who were brutally sacked for not taking this Fauci Frankenstein COVID cyanide toxic poison. Thank you, Glenn Floyd. Signing off. Today is the 25th. It's Tuesday, the 25th of March, 2025. See you soon. Thank you.